Pritika, and I live in India. I'm a lawyer by profession. I've been practicing law here for over 17 years. Um, I grew up watching broken roads, dust everywhere, waste thrown all around, and I found it really disturbing. I started my career working with some really prominent councils, some of whom continue to be my favorites till date, and one worth mentioning is Arun Jaitley. My journey took me along, and I also worked at a really prominent law firm called Jyoti Sagar Associates. Learned a lot, had a fantastic experience, but ultimately, I realized that I wanted to use my skills as a lawyer to recreate India, because I was really done with driving on broken roads and water flooding into my car and children begging on the streets, and to read law, to understand why things are going wrong, and still not do something about it was not something that was okay with me. I chose to study law because I wanted to help the society around me, and with all of these thoughts, I set out on my journey of starting work independently. I started uh, a law practice named Cornelia Chambers, which is based out of New Delhi, India, back in 2016 after moving on from JSA. Cornelia has really evolved into becoming a very unique law practice community where some of the best legal minds and some of the most impact driven lawyers come to work. The community has been evolving and growing in its own way. Under this umbrella of a community, there is a partnership on the basis of which several members of the community work. While working together, what we all realized was that there is a really big access barrier to good quality legal services um, in the country. While the wealthy people in the country and the businesses can, of course, afford going to some of the widely known law firms, but for the masses of India, there isn't that much high quality support that's available because there hasn't been so much standardization. The systems are not so established. Things are all over the place. And while as independent professionals, we moved out of these law firms, we could see that we could actually help building these systems and these processes, and build a platform that will give access to the masses of India to good quality legal services, and also let them engage with other authorized and trained lawyers. There are plenty in this country. There are 2 lakh graduates that come out of law school each year. And so the community at Cornelia came together and we started a company called No Gray. At No Gray, we are building India's legal service operating system, and we are coming up with many, many products for the masses of India. We've launched the first one. It's called Will It. It lets you create a will and form a trust for your children. We're also going to be coming out with many more products, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm going to talk about why we have decided to have these conversations and bring these conversations to you all. Um, this series of conversations is really going to be about the people behind No Gray, the ones that have come together to build No Gray, and the why and the why behind their coming together. And we've chosen to call this series No Grays, Asking the Right Questions. And because we believe that when you ask the right questions, you find many answers to why things are wrong, and or why something is not working out, and you're able to see solutions to the problems that we have. And we hope that while we stay in the question of why things are where they are with No Gray and with us personally, each one who's involved with No Gray. We will also encourage you all to think and stay in the question. And so here we are with No Gray's asking the right question. The first person that I want to uh, bring to you all through this show is my co founder, Bambi. And before I delve into asking her the right questions, I want her to introduce herself briefly. Bambi, over to you.
Thanks, Pritika. I'm really excited to be here. I think we've actually had so many of these conversations just between the both of us and also, other members of our team and community. And it's good. It's great that, we can share this with everybody else because, yeah, we need to keep asking the right questions, and we need to keep looking for the answers, for the right answers, and not the answers that we are fed or we are told to believe. I think that's where this is really coming from. And yeah, so I mean, a little intro about myself. I'm a lawyer, of course, and I'm an accidental entrepreneur because I don't know. I mean, we all, I think a lot of us choose to do law because we believe in this idea of justice and of helping people. But once we get into law school, I think even in law school, the reality of the world and of the legal system, we don't really, we're not equipped to really grasp, all of it. And so in law school, I think what's also happening, especially in our country, is that these ideals that we think about and go into law school, they sort of change. It keeps evolving and it keeps changing, and somewhere I feel like a lot of people lose track of why they even chose to be a lawyer in the first place. And all of these corporates and law firms come in, and they are swinging their big bags of money at you, and you think, oh well, yeah, this is why I chose law. I want to make a lot of money. I want to be a billionaire. And then people get caught up in these jobs, and then they really lose sight of who they are and who they want to be and what they're meant to do really with this powerful law um, degree and education,
Yeah.
they have. So yeah, um, I'm really happy to just be here, and I'm excited for you to ask me all of these questions to get me to think, more deeply,
Yeah.
and also for all of our viewers to understand why we're asking these questions and what do they think about this.
Yeah.
I think eventually, I mean, we would love to just have a bigger group of people here, some
Yes.
sort of a round table where everybody is able to, you know, share different perspectives. Maybe we're not able to cover all of it as deeply on these one-on-ones, but yeah, I think that would be a beautiful experience for everybody.
Yes.
So let's go for it.
Yeah. So rightly said, and just before I jump into the questions, I want to share a little experience I had with you and with anyone who's tuning in, and I hope it helps. And this is, well, I went into law school because, there was this one movie that I was watching, A Few Good Men, and I was someone who was always in trouble in school as well. I was somewhat the little rebellious one sometimes, and also that person who's always asking why why is this happening like this. And I would always get up and say, but I didn't understand that. And somehow all these whys got me into real trouble with many teachers. And I would, like, of course, I would always stand up for myself, and if I saw that something is not be is something is being done to somebody else which is not right, I would always stand up for that person as well. And so when I watched this movie, A Few Good Men, I very naturally felt, yeah, I'm going to go to the courts. And this is really the direction for me because, I will get to present my thoughts, and then there will be some good explanation I will receive from the other side. And if what I'm thinking is correct, then justice will be delivered. And so, I had these really romantic ideas around justice and delivery of justice. And after watching this movie, I thought, yeah, that this is it. This is the direction I want to take. And there I went to law school, and I told my dad that I'm not going to study science any longer. Law is going to be the direction I will take. And soon I graduated, and I went to the courts, and I started to see that things are not really how I had imagined them to be. I was still hopeful, and but somewhere along the way, just like you talked about, how we get all mixed up and confused. And Bambi, that point that you made about we all somewhere join law school with the idea that we will participate in the delivery of justice, and go to court and present matters, and stand up for the right reasons. I think for many of us, somewhere deep down inside, that's really the calling. And it was the same for me. And I did go to the courts to actually live that dream. But I don't know, somewhere along the line, um, every time we were like together with a bunch of friends, and some of these friends were working at some of these corporates, these banks, these financial institutions, or some of the celebrated law firms. I somehow felt that I was probably not good enough if I did not get to work at one of these big branded law firms. And somewhere I felt a little underconfident about myself, and I felt a little lost. And it was this, this seeking of validation um, that I started to sort of see
Chase.
inside of me. And then somehow things happened, and I did work at the law firm. But that desire in me to actually like be a part of like the justice delivery system, that never I never lost that. Because after experiencing what I experienced in the law firm, I learned a lot for sure in terms of the business of law. It is also a business actually when someone thinks about
Of
it.
course.
um, but um, but there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's being done ethically. So anyway, so ultimately I reached a point where I realized, well, um, I still want to like, use my skills to make a difference, to help people. I still believe in the ideas of justice. So what if we are not there as yet? Who is going to take us there? These ideas are all written in our constitution, in our codes. Who's going to bring these ideas to life if it's not us? Like there was like a whole generation of people who must have fought so hard to
Yeah.
actually those ideas to actually lead us in a direction where those ideas got enacted as laws, got framed as our constitution. And now it is really upon us, this generation, to make sure that those ideas are implemented. And this is really the one of the core reasons why we've started No Gray. And because we do believe that law is the operating system of our democracy, and we do believe that in a country where, or in any part of the world where the legal system is failing, it's really a sign of a failing democracy. And so, if we are able to build a robust legal service operating system, um, we will be able to help India develop and grow in directions that we have not even imagined till now, because we are such a smart group of people living in this blessed land. So, with these thoughts, Bambi, I'm going to straight away jump into some of the questions that that I've been meaning to ask you. And so the first question for you, Bambi, is Bambi, you've been working for around 7 years as a lawyer now. Um, what have you noticed about India in the context of administration of justice and legal affairs, and the role and opportunities of being a lawyer here? What is it that you have observed about how our courts are functioning, how our government departments are functioning, and also how uh, how the lawyers are operating, and what their role is and what their role should be? So over to you.
Okay, I think we're gonna just, I think let's talk about this. I'm gonna touch upon, like, you know, some of my broad thoughts. So, the administration of justice in this country, it's no secret that it's highly complex and slow paced, like we've been talking about. And this is the reason, right, that we're building Nogri as well. There is a huge access barrier. People, there is no, there is no law and order in our country. And that's what you hear every Indian saying, especially when they're traveling abroad. These are the words that we keep hearing, like, oh, like the infra is so good here. People are actually obeying the laws, you know, something as simple as walking on a walking path, you know. In our country, it's chaos. Like you said, like nothing is functioning. The roads are There are no roads actually in a lot of places. Even now, the roads are broken. There's no street lights. I don't want to go into all of the issues, but the crux of it being that there are so many issues on so many levels, and the legal system, again, like, it's no secret, it's broken, it's not functioning. And now, like you said, we are living in very interesting times, right? And with the way technology has evolved, honestly, pre-COVID, there was a lot of resistance. I would have never imagined a world, in India, especially, where lawyers are taking to technology, the legal community, the courts. I would have never imagined hearings taking place online. For me personally, and for all lawyers working at law firms, they would agree that the idea of, taking your laptop home and working remotely, it didn't exist. It only actually happened in very specific scenarios where probably you're overworked and you're unwell and you want to go home, but you have a deadline to meet. Otherwise, the partner or the client will be breathing down your neck, and it might cost the client as well, and then that'll just lead to a plethora of problems for you, both professionally and personally. Everything affects everything. It's a ripple effect. So what happens is that there is this fear. Like you said, you didn't feel good enough, in law school. Why? Because you decided you didn't want a fancy corporate job, whatever that meant. You wanted to just go out there in the world raw, explore everything there is to be explored about the world, about the legal system, about everything, on your own, and with the right set of people around, the right advisors, mentors, people that you just generally, look up to. So it's so important to do that. But, there's this fear. So that fear, I feel like it's a lot of lawyers just take a beating, like, even if they've gone into law school with all of these ideas of how they want to help people, the fear is so deep rooted that they have forgotten how to firstly help themselves. you know if you're living in constant fear of not being good enough, of not believing in the power of this legal education that you have, and how it can, if you really put your mind to it and the community is supportive, you can make a very long lasting positive impact on in every way.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful education, it really lays down the foundation for everything.
Yeah.
For you as a human being, first of all, and for the community, like you said, law is the operating system of society, of a democracy, like just how, the operating system of a computer, it connects all of the different functions of the computer to make sure it's running efficiently.
Yes.
It's the same. That's what the law of the land is supposed to do. It's supposed to make human interactions, um, it's supposed to improve human interactions. It's supposed to make sure that people who are living in this society, they know what their rights are, what their duties are when it comes to just, interacting with each other. Of course, it also helps businesses, flourish and, all of that. But on a very basic level, if you don't even know what your rights and duties are, and tomorrow, if there is a legal obstacle and you don't know where to go, you don't know which lawyer to go to, you don't know which lawyer you can trust, you don't know if the courts are going to, the court case may go on for 20 years.
Which
So,
is, it happens. Yeah.
which happens, which is so disappointing and actually heartbreaking for everybody involved.
Yes.
For the citizen, for the person involved who's, going through these obstacles, and even for the lawyers.
Yeah.
There are so many emotions that we are feeling as lawyers, because we are also human. People forget that we, there are all of these WhatsApp jokes and dad jokes about, lawyers and sharks biting a lawyer, and, all of those jokes. And we laugh at it, but the reality is that so many of us actually really just wanted to make this world a better place.
Bottom line.
That was the bottom line. But once you enter into the real world, and you see how broken everything is, and you really try for a while, but then you're sort of forced to give up, because you see people around you saying, but this is how it is in this country,
Yeah.
nothing can change. And so that's the narrative, and so you keep thinking, oh, maybe I'm a fool.
Yeah.
Maybe nothing can change. But no, it can always get better. And we just need to build that community of people. And now, with the evolution of technology, it's even easier today. And there is less, like, the legal community today is less resistant to, adopting technology, because, of course, COVID forced us to do that.
Hmm.
It forced us to sit in our homes, spend time with our families, you know, do our work from the safety of our homes, attend court hearings. I feel like during that phase in 2020, all of us were just also interacting with each other in a much nicer and warmer way.
Yes.
All of these apps were coming up, and people were being encouraged even by their employers to go and, have like other hobbies,
Mhm.
which was never seen before.
Yeah.
Also, employers started holding yoga sessions, like simple things. And it was good. It was good to see that during these difficult times we were all able to sort of come together.
Yeah.
Like, post 2020, it's changed again.
Savage.
It's just, I don't know what's happened, but we've gone back
Yeah. Yeah.
one. And yeah, so I'm really excited to see what's happening, with the evolution of technology around the world. And
Yeah.
I think in India, it's a great opportunity. It's a great time for lawyers to take up roles that are beyond their traditional legal work. And there is a strong demand, there is a strong need for these kind of innovative solutions. And like you
Yes.
said, there are so many, just so many law graduates, and there are no proper jobs.
Yeah.
And again, there's a lot of fear. Like,
Yeah.
a fresh law graduate does need a mentor, does need somebody to assist and work with. I'm sure they can try to raw dog it, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, that's the correct way to go about having a long lasting meaningful career. And you have to find meaning in your work. sitting
Absolutely.
sitting at your desk for 20 hours, eating your dinner at your table, trying to just make a lot of money for whatever corporation and the partners at your law firm. Like, I mean, how are you going to find meaning in that? you know
Yeah. It has
Especially when there's
it has to be more than that.
it has
And
to
you
be more
have,
than that.
you have like actually pulled it all together so beautifully. Um, Listening to you, what I realize is that my thoughts and feelings stand validated through an expression of your experiences. I've also noticed that unfortunately our the administrative system in our country for law and order, like the judicial system, is completely broken. There is no denying that. There have been so many instances where I have personally observed um, judgments being given on with absolutely no reasoning, and that is so absurd. And I have heard of instances where uh, people are pushing envelopes to the judges. So we can't even blame the government, because the government is really, we all know, it's of the people, for the people, and by the people. So if the judge is taking that money, someone is also giving him that money. So actually, our systems are broken because the society is broken right now. Something has gone wrong at a very like foundational level. We do have great values in us. We just have to bring them back to life somewhere. And the next thing on the roles and responsibilities, and the opportunities of being a lawyer here, I think it's a great time to be here as a lawyer. Like, we all know that there aren't enough jobs, and I really see that that is a great opportunity to make use of your education and to find meaning in the work that you do, because there's such a big canvas that's available to make a change. And with people like us coming to the forefront now and starting a company like No Gray, which is basically a platform where we want to inspire confidence also in other lawyers who want to learn and practice through our lawyer partnership programs, where we give them like a great revenue share. I think it's a great opportunity for now young lawyers to come and actually exercise what they have learned under the leadership of the lawyers who are building No Gray. And this is the kind of leadership that we are trying to build here, is really this leadership that believes in inspiring confidence. What I experienced as a younger lawyer was, I met many people who I felt were actually thriving on taking away my confidence. And I went through those moments alone. And I promised to myself that I will never do this to another person. And that is also part of like the whole philosophy behind No and
It
how we
seems to be the common experience between all
Yeah,
of
so
us.
the message that we want to give out to like the lakhs of graduates that are coming out is that we need all of you. There is a big role that lawyers play in the building of any nation that aspires to become a developed nation. Look at America for that matter. Many of the founding fathers were all lawyers. Even the UK, even like other countries. So I think that it's a great time for the lawyers. Not having like a job at a traditional law firm or at a big four or some big corporation is really a blessing, guys. And you all should come and help us build No Gray. With that thought, and yeah, and about the brokenness of our judiciary, we'll fix it. I've still not lost hope. we still see the light sometimes. There are a few people on the other side who, regardless of the pressures on them, be they in the government, be they in the judiciary, or in the bureaucracy, there's enough of us who are operating out of really good shared values, and together we will all make the difference. On this, Pambi, moving on to the next question for you. Um, how do you think the present day legal operating system is impacting our lives as citizens? Don't you think law is the operating system of our democracy? And if yes, why? I know you've already touched upon this
Yeah.
in the previous question, but maybe if there are things that remain unanswered, you can answer here. Otherwise, I'm happy to move on to the next question as well.
Yeah, I think we did talk about this, so I don't want to repeat what I said, but I think that, you know, I think we already agree that, law is the operating system of our democracy, but for this system to be truly effective, it needs to evolve, to adapt to the present day challenges. And that's where technology comes in. And I think now I am seeing that the lawyer community is also becoming a lot more comfortable with using technology. I think lawyers have this way of feeling very important with all of their files, their bulky files and documents sitting on their desks. But who wants to do that? I mean, we look at the way, I mean, there's so much happening with AI, but there is also again this new fear that, oh, AI is coming to replace us, you know but that's not what it is. I don't think technology or AI can completely replace uh, what lawyers are doing, because law is also just a game of psychology, right? You have to really understand what this other person is about who's sitting across you. Like, what does he want? What is his objective? What are his intentions? Why is he or she you know behaving a certain way? What are they trying to, all of that. So it's really just about going deep within yourself and within the systems to understand why things are happening a certain way, and how can we make it a better system for the people are forget like what's all of these systems were built for the people, for the betterment of society, to improve society. But none of that is happening, and we can all agree that none of that is happening. And which is why we're trying to ask these questions. Why is it not happening? Where are these obstacles, and where can we come in as lawyers? Not just to make a quick buck, but to really go deep within ourselves and within the system to see how we can use how we can better the system.
Yeah, yeah. And just one more thing I want to add here, which came to my mind while we were having this little chat around this question, is that what I've also noticed is um, that actually, like, it is not just the people who are not paying enough attention to the law and why it's important and why it's important to follow it, and why are these systems in place, and there is like a general like generally there's a very relaxed approach to the rule of law. Like, people are not really like adhering to the rule of law. But I've also noticed that almost all the businesses in our country, you know, they seem to have a very light approach to the rule of law. Like, and I see this by reading the newspapers and by watching the cases that are happening in the courts. And I think that they really see like lawyers and legal services as merely a risk mitigation uh, technique. they're not really really like, how should I put it? I don't think they have great respect and regard for the rule of law, the businesses.
And why is that?
I feel, and that's the reason. The reason is because there's hardly any enforcement.
Yeah.
Like they have seen that, even if, like, say, for example, a young business starts out, almost every business that starts out has some fallout in some contract that they had entered into. Typically, you will see these businesses during their enthusiastic phase where they still believe in the system of law and the existence of a judiciary and things like that. You see them challenge these these breakdowns of contractual relationship, and then they slowly see that nothing is happening for like 5 to 10 years. And then they also get hardened. They also realize that there is no system. And
Yeah.
when they realize that there is no system to protect them, they start protecting themselves and they start protecting the money that they're generating. And when they see everyone around them, including the older businesses, the older business leaders, not following the laws, when they see the judiciary not acting promptly, then they also become like the rest of the people. They also start going with the flow, and that's it. And this is how, like, the problem is going on increasing. So many times, like, as a younger lawyer, even now, when I look at a contract very very closely, I have actually had these experiences where I've been told to not look at the contract that carefully, because it's merely a risk mitigation exercise,
Yeah.
and
And a
which I
lot of
find.
organizations actually don't even hire lawyers to do their contractual work because they don't value it. They
Yeah.
feel like, oh, it's just, a bunch of words on a paper, and I know my business well. So I'm just going to, you're going to do the same thing. There is this belief, and actually, a lot of lawyers do it, which is why there is a breakdown in the quality of the legal services that, oh, it's just a mere copy paste job, you know? And which is why a lot of businesses are also hesitant. They think, why should I hire a lawyer, and why should I, pay them any sort of retainer fee when I
what
can just do it
uh,
myself?
and, and what they're not realizing is, actually, and this is not about the rule of law, the courts and contracts getting disputed. What they're not realizing is uh, that when their contracts are not drafted properly, actually their business is suffering. Because what is a contract at the end of the day? It's a document that defines your relationship, and a document that doesn't define the expectations in the relationship and the limitations clearly is a document designed for failure. And I have repeatedly seen this happening. Most of the disputes that I've been a part of are disputes that have emerged from really badly drafted contracts. And you
Or no
cannot,
contract.
or
So
no
they
contract.
rely on their personal equations and relationships,
Exactly.
not knowing that, business is business and shit can always hit the fan. And what are you
Correct.
going to do then? What's your
Correct.
recourse?
And what I also see is that a lot of times the businesses will, in order to like save costs, they will hire like really, really young associates who don't have a mentor who's guiding them, directing them. You cannot expect like a fresh graduate to be spinning out a contract, thinking about it in different layers without the right direction. So there are like so many of these problems that are happening at all these different levels,
Various levels.
and
Yeah.
they're really happening because the judiciary is not doing a good job right now, and it's really time for that to change.
And this
And
is really how it's impacting all of our lives on
all of
all of these various professional and personal levels.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so with that, and of course, we will keep talking about these things amongst all of us, and we'll keep going deeper and deeper. The next question I want to ask you is, Bambi, since we're building No Gray together, what is No Gray to you? Why is it important? And how do you think it is going to have a positive impact on India's economy and society? Do you think No Gray is going to be a sustainable and profitable venture, and why? So let's begin with, what is No Gray to you, and why is it important? And is it going to have a positive impact on India's economy and society?
So, I mean, the answer is really simple to the first question. Nogri is it's the future of legal services in India. That's what we've been talking about, the last few minutes. So it's really that simple to me. To me, Nogri is it's the future of legal services in India. And what we're really doing is we are simplifying legal processes for the citizens of India, for the people of India. That's who we're truly doing it for. Um, and it's really simple. How we're doing it is that we're using technology and we're making it user friendly. We're giving access to so much legal information to people, to lawyers, in comparison to corporations, law firms, people who are holding this kind of information very closely because they don't want to let it out. Like you said, it again comes back to not wanting to give lawyers and the citizens that confidence. Both lawyers and citizens need that confidence. A lawyer needs that confidence to say, hey, you have a problem, come to me. This is how I'm going to help you figure it out, and I'm not going to charge you the moon. And I'm going to make sure that you get what you want. We're able to help you, and we're able to help you in good time, not like 30 years from now, 20 years from now. Like, of course people are going to lose hope, both the lawyers and the citizen. Like, no one's going to have hope in a system that's going to say, hey, okay, um we're going to try to resolve this, but it may never get resolved, or it may take like 30, 40 years. And by then, like, the person's lost hope, the families have lost hope. If you have kids, nobody wants to get into this mess. And so naturally, you're operating on a system that is not able to gain the trust of the people. And that's the key, really, you know
Yeah.
and I feel like once the community and once people do completely take to No Gray, and they start trusting the platform and the people behind it, um, there's no doubt that its impact is going to be substantial. It's going to be, and of course, I mean, it goes without saying that this is also going to naturally create a more conducive environment for entrepreneurship and innovation, and businesses are also going to run in a more efficient manner. But of course, for the citizens of India, this impact is going to be a lot more profound. you know and also because, like, and we've already spoken about this, legal literacy and access to justice, it's fundamental. It really is fundamental to a fair and equitable society. And that again is the very basis of a democracy. So, I mean, those are my 2 cents on the positive impact that
Mm.
no grays is going to have on, on society, and on the economy, and on the profitability aspect. I do believe that No Gray is very well positioned for success, and purely because there is a very clear demand, and our model as we know it is scalable. We're very confident in that. So that's the crux of it. Plus, we have a very strong mission, and we have technological innovation. So with all of these factors, this makes me feel very confident about our success. You know,
Lovely,
there's
lovely. You're right. We have it all. Like we are domain experts. We have the support of some of the best lawyers in the fraternity. We have their blessings. We've also been able to understand how the technology has to be built. We have identified the right engineers who are helping us. Um, and the reason I asked you this question is because, look, every mission has to be sustainable. And the only way, like, that's the only way to actually fulfill the mission. And sustainability, of course, means like the things that one associates with sustainability generally in terms of, the sustainability development goals of the United Nations. I don't think I need to repeat that, but sustainability also means monetization. If it is only when we will be able to successfully monetize Nogre and Nogre's mission will we be able to achieve it. And you're right. Given our model and given the success that we are already seeing, like the little light that we're already seeing with the commercialization of our first product, will it without any like digital marketing or marketing expenditure, so to say, maybe just like experimental amounts of 500, 2,000 rupees.
we haven't yet gone all out.
Yeah, like we're getting leads and some fantastic leads, some founders who have signed up to encourage us, or and also because they really felt they needed this kind of a service. So yeah, I think I agree with you too. It is a highly sustainable and profitable venture, and we have a long, although we have a long way to go, and I'm excited about it. And the last question, Bambi, according to you, what has been our biggest challenge while building No Grade this far? And what do you think will help us sustain our efforts and build an impactful yet profitable venture?
So I think it's no secret. I think you and I both know that our biggest challenge while building No Grey has been the tech industry of India. And, we're lawyers. So of course, it took us a while, actually, not too long. I would say it took us maybe short of a year to
Yeah.
figure out what was really, you know, going on. And we were quite trusting. We we felt like, okay, there is a certain set of developers that have been referred to us by somebody known, and us being the diligent and like highly professional and passionate lawyers that we are, we know how we deliver our work, and I think we assumed that the developers of our country would have the same approach. um, and of course, it's no surprise that that wasn't the case, and it was a big challenge for us because we went through a lot of developers. We realized that we can't put our eggs in one basket, and we realized that apart from just building a beautiful looking, you know, tech product, which has, you know, that the developer understands all of the technical nuances, we realized that no, we need to work with people who also understand the broad impact of our products. It's very important that they understand the feeling behind building this product, because I mean, tomorrow I can go get an investor and he can put all the money that I want into building a beautiful looking legal product. But if you don't have a bunch of passionate, diligent, ethical, whatever you want to call it, lawyers backing that sort of legal tech product, then there's no use of such a product.
Yeah.
Anybody can, build something beautiful looking and put it up on the internet. But for what? So if you're just in it to, make some sort of a name for yourself, create some sort of buzz because, oh, you're a entrepreneur, you're a founder, you've built this product, like that's not going to work. It might get you some attention for a couple of minutes, but beyond that, so we need lawyers to really back this sort of transformation because they are the only ones who can do it. And the only reason I feel like it's not happening is because lawyers were such busybodies. Like, if we had the time, we would have learned how to code and we would have just built this and put it out there. But unfortunately, we don't have the time.
Yeah.
That is the reality of it. But even the lawyers, within the community, they also want this. They're for this change. They know, they understand that this is also going to make their lives easier.
Yeah.
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 Um,
Yeah.
so um, I think that has truly been really our biggest challenge, and that's what sort of delayed us. But I think now,
Couple of months. Yeah.
a
Six.
couple of months,
Tell
yeah,
you something there. I think we needed to go through that process because that helped us understand the power of no code tools
that
and
is, yeah.
like
Who
how
can
we
it
actually
anymore?
just
Like,
use all
yeah,
these tools, and there are just innumerable tools available in the world for any flow that you want to build together.
yeah.
I know, like, I know we made our mistakes, uh, but
They
we
had
learned.
to be
And
made. So that, yeah,
I was talking to another really like successful founder. I would say he is the founder of Better India. What a beautiful service he's giving. And when I told him about our journey with building tech, he was really happy to see how much we had figured out in terms of the no code tools. Like, just imagine, Bambi, we ended up paying uh, those silly developers from West Coast in India. Like, how much? Like, maybe like some like 6 lakh, 8 lakhs for what? For stitching together a Calendly and a Google Meet integration. And was there anything else? And then they gave us Razorpay while Razorpay was down and not processing new registrations. And basically, they gave us a product on which we could not change any text by the end of it. So basically, we couldn't really use that text. And with every small little change that we wanted, they wanted to bill us more. They absolutely and completely lacked that startup energy. They were doing two full-time jobs. I don't know what kind of entrepreneurs they were. Not really entrepreneurial for sure now when I look back at it. But that really like took us through this whole process of understanding their character, because we will come across many such characters in our journey on while we're on this mission. It helped us learn about and understand the innumerable tools that are available to build almost any flow that we want to. It made us meet the right people who saw and understood our pain and actually invested so much time and effort in helping us build such an incredible product. And of course, I'm going to be shameless about it because it's the truth. We are way ahead of anybody else in this space in terms of in India specifically. I don't know about the rest of the world right now, but in India, in terms of building the kind of tools that we are building, our product is brilliant. Like, we've really thought it through. Like, we've been so generous with everything we are giving in there. So yeah, so I think we've really turned that challenge into an opportunity. And the the one more point that came to my mind was that, like, the other challenge that we've been facing is, and I think we have to be honest about it, is that we are really thinly spread because we are running a consulting practice very, very successfully, no doubt about it, where again we are adding like great value to the few clients that we are servicing. We cannot really service too many more. And on the other side, we're building no gray. So naturally, we are financially really stressed out. And then the thought of why is it that when we are building a product which has such a meaningful purpose behind it, when we have that product in place, we've also built the tech, we've also started commercializing, it's a little challenging for us to understand as to why our efforts towards finding the right angels, the right investors haven't been rewarded as yet. I'm still sitting with that question. While sitting with that question, of course, we've turned our attention completely to focusing more on actually making sure that we have enough customers and we sell to enough customers. Having said that, if we had a little bit of support, like every time I go out into a social setting, I hear people about, I hear people complaining about the brokenness of our legal service system and how that's impacting everyone's life, be it like personal or professional or business. And then I really wonder, why is it that they would not contribute towards the building of such a mission? Having said that, we've still found a lot of support. We found the right partners, who have that intention, who are
Yeah.
committed to the mission. Like we have like Serengeti Ventures, we have Rajiv and Sashi helping us build ties with wealth managers around the country who have committed to actually take our first product, will it out into the market. We also have Jeetu Balakrishnan, who's helping us on strategy. We have our mothers who are constant investors and motivators, our fathers who are always telling us that we're doing the right things, and our friends who are like really like cheering for us, and the few clients that we have who are secretly like supporting us through the commitment they've made towards us. So yeah, I think with this gratitude in our hearts, we will soon even turn this challenge of not having enough funds to actually like execute a lot of the things quickly. I'm sure we'll also overcome this little obstacle, or probably it's just this time where we need to maybe just go through this process to actually reach the next level. So yeah, with that, I think we should conclude this first show of No Gray on No Gray's asking the right questions. I think I've really enjoyed this chat with you, like all other chats, and I'm excited about continuing to do this. And for all the listeners and viewers, on our next chat, we will have Jeetu Balakrishnan, who is one of our prime advisors. He's also a scientist, an IIT Madras graduate, and a quantum physicist who's always, you know, who's sort of helping us tap into the quantum field to live out the No Gray mission. And we will talk more about quantum physics, No Gray, and India's legal service system, the many problems, and how No Gray is going to solve the problem and help every Indian live a more peaceful, balanced, and equitable life in our next chapter. So thank you all for tuning in and listening, and we will see you soon. Bambi, any message from you?
Thanks, Pritika. I think this was needed. And I'm glad that we were able to invite other people into these secret, now not so secret conversations that, we keep having every now and then. And yeah, I'm excited for the other, you know, conversations that are going to take place
Yeah,
with our other supporters, advisors, just the
yeah,
noble community, the wonderful community that we've been building now for over
yes,
a year.
yes.
So
And
yeah, thank you.
I just like to leave like a last message around. If you have enjoyed this conversation, if you know our mission resonates with yours, please do have a look at our website, www.nogray.legal. And please also have a look at our first product, which is available at www.willit.co.in. We will also be sharing the links below below this video and audio for you all to go there and have a look. And if you need to, if you've been thinking about getting a will made or forming a trust for your children to protect them, do go and purchase our product. And if you want to know why a will is important for everyone, you should stay tuned in here or have a look at some of our other chats on our YouTube channel. And with that, goodbye for now, and we will see you next week. Thank you, Bambi. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.